radio on WACR 90.3 FM radio. Got some special guests, as y'all can see. I'm not dolo today. I got some great brothers joining me this morning.
Oh, hey man, this song is good.
Turn up a little bit.
Focus, we rise together. Stay engaged, make moves like birds of a feather. Tune in, don't miss it. The vibe is so right. Elevate your game from morning to night. Wellness Wednesdays, turn on lights.
Wellness Wednesday.
On WHCR, hear the truth more found. Danny's got the secrets, gonna elevate your mood. Health is your wealth, feel the gratitude. It's more than a show, it's a lifestyle. Real talk, real vibes, you'll be here for a while. Sipping on that herbal tea, feeling alive in the zone with Danny, where the good times thrive. Rise and shine, let's break down the walls. Knowledge is power, let's answer the calls. From fitness to wellness, we're keeping it tight. Danny's got your back, bringing wisdom to life. Join the movement, let your heart resonate. This is the hour, don't hesitate. Living life aglow, we're shining so bright. Tune in to the vibes that'll take you to new heights.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to another episode of the People's Healing Hour on WHCR 90.3 FM radio. I am your host, known in the streets and in the clinics as the People's Herbalist. And today we are joined by two incredible guests. I don't always get guests. When I get two, it makes me happy. So I'm joined today by my brothers Kura from Kura Alkaline and Omar from OZL. What's going on, guys? Say what's up to the people.
What's up, peace family? Happy to be here, happy to be here, excited.
Yes. So, on the People's Healing Hour, we love to talk about wellness things, herbal things, all things in regards to health and healing. And today, we're going to talk about mental health because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I want to make sure that we continue that trajectory and that topic for today. But you gentlemen have some very unique specialties and insights, and we're going to jump into some of those when it comes to honey and bees, stingless black bee honey to be exact. We're going to talk about some breath work. Actually, I think we should do a breath work exercise.
It's an amazing idea.
You know, this is start the day off. Good morning to all the people out there from Harlem and beyond, because we are streaming, but this is a Harlem-based radio station, so we got a shout out to all the people out here this morning. We're gonna get some breath work in. So I have a little. Actually, I had a video on the show, but Omar, do you want to lead us on some breath work?
We could. I was gonna ask you before, but I said I'm ready. I stay ready. That way I don't have to get ready.
I love that.
Awesome.
That is the goal. That is the purpose. That is what we are here to do. So, please.
What we'll do is a little bit of box breathing. There's different methods of breathing that we do at the OZL Healing Sanctuary, but box breathing is one of the things that calms your nervous system almost immediately. It sort of tells your body, relax, there's no threat here. You don't have to run. There's not a tiger chasing you. So what you do is you imagine in your mind's eye, if you're sitting or laying down is beautiful. If you're driving, please keep your eyes open. Imagine a box in your head, a square box. And on the bottom, we'll start on the left-hand side and we'll go to the right, and then we'll go up, and then on the top, we'll go across, and then we'll go down. It's 5 seconds as breathing in, and then we hold it as the line goes up for 5 seconds, and then we go across the top. We release the air for 5 seconds, and then we go down for 5 seconds. All right, got it, guys?
Let's get it.
Awesome, we got this.
So just use my voice as a guide.
Take it away, OZL.
For breath. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 2. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 2. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now hold it. Two. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. Two. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold it. 2, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 2, 5. In 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it. 2, 4, 5. Release 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to your normal breath.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you for that, man.
Thank you
Breath
for that, man.
work
Wow.
in there. And you understand the value of breathing. I gotta tell you, one time for the one time. Yo, shout out to breathing. Shout out to
So
breath.
breathing.
We wake up this morning, man. Y'all woke up this morning. It's a blessing. So count them every moment. Breathing is one of those ways to honor your life
Correct.
in every manner, right? So thank you for leading us in that quick breathwork episode.
Of course. It's super powerful. You know, when we come into this world or this realm, that's the first thing that we do is we breathe in. And when we leave this realm, that'll be the last thing that we do also. So,
Deep, deep, deep.
so,
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, so on this topic, man, it's Mental Health Month, Mental Health Awareness Month in May. And we talk about mental health often, but we don't really give it the light and insight that is necessary for people to deal with this. Um, Last week, I had a conversation with a doctor, and we were talking about actually a doctor and medical herbalist talking about some things that people can use for depression and anxiety and what's called SPDs, serious and severe psychological distress, which it really impacts people's everyday life, what they're thinking, what they're saying, how they're showing up in their life as a parent, as a worker, as a coworker, as anything. You know, if you're going through something serious, and it may not be serious to somebody else, but it's serious to you, and you're not able to do what you got to do. We have to find ways to cope, and breath work is the easiest way to do that, and it goes across the board, you know. But also, I'm a big proponent of being outside in nature,
Yes.
outside,
Movement.
yes, movement, being around the trees, around moving water, and just being exposed to the elements, birds singing, sun shining, hitting your skin. Just
Yeah.
the ambiance of nature has so many incredible benefits. So man, mental health is not just shaped by what happens to us, but also how we interpret it and how we respond to life. The mindset is not forced positivity. That's one thing that we want to make sure. You want to be positive, right? But you don't want to. What's Pollyanna? What's one of those movies that she was just so ridiculously optimistic that she did not recognize tragedy when it was in front of them. Right? You don't want to do that.
You don't want to live in a dream world.
Exactly. There are bad things that happen. You know, you can take lemons and turn into lemonade, but you can't just automatically say bad things are good things. You don't want to do that. Live in that kind of world. But we do want to make sure that we are trying to keep a positive mindset as best we can. And I think one of the best ways to do that is being in community with good people, right? And that's one of those big words, community. Like, what does community mean to you? Let's start there.
For sure, yeah, brother. For me, community is definitely gathering, sharing information together, collaborating. And back on what you were saying in terms of like how you may perceiving something to be a bad situation, is also sometimes people giving insight on something that they have gone through and sharing their testimony for you to know how to get through that situation as well. So that is that creating that community and helping people with each other how to reframe that situation. Because yes, we're not going to force positivity, but it's also just all right. This is accepting what's happening, but also seeing that it is because 9 times out of 10, a lot of the good that happens around us before that happens, something before. So, community, you're having good friends, having a good source of family as well. It's very important for that mental health as well. To just being a loner, it's that type of mindset. Either there is times where you want to spend time to center yourself and be alone, but definitely being gathered around with people, being able to share is very powerful.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's humanity, right?
Yeah,
We're communal beings. We're supposed to be around each other. The times when you retreat, go into your monk
exactly.
state and be alone, but building together is important. And that's why I was happy to have you brothers on here with me today.
There you
You
go.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It feels good to be in a space where, like you were saying, there's you may be going through something that somebody else is going through,
Hmm.
and they can share their experience, share their energy, let you know that hey, look, there's a light on the other side. And it may not be the exact words that you need, but it's the energy and the experience that you are picking up from that person that can be extremely potent for your growth and development and overcoming that obstacle.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that one conversation, and if it's a hidden gem for that person to take that step forward, make that decision. A lot of the times, creating that change is really just a decision away. So being in community and sharing with others, and it also puts you in the test to be vulnerable as well, right? What are you going to share? What are you going to you know, on with the community? If you know you feel like you're in a safe space, you can definitely get a good outcome with a good circle.
Speaking of good circles, we got to give a big shout out to Monique. You know
Yes,
what I'm
we do have
saying?
to give a big shout out to her.
Yeah, big
Our
shout out to
sister.
Monique from Nicholas BK. Hold on, she deserves one. Monique of Nicholas BK, man. Building of community and having some incredible people all in one space, man. Monique, if you hear this later, just know that we appreciate you. We love you for all the work you're doing.
Yes,
For
yes.
sure, for sure, man. So,
There, going to that store, you would firsthand witness community. Um, I'm a resident vendor at the store. Health products, and I've had the opportunity to connect with a lot of people there. And it's very beautiful to see how just a lot of conversations just begin to spark with people that don't know each other at the store, and they host a lot of different events to bring people together as well. So that is one place that I would encourage a lot of people to visit, not only just because of the products or things that they provide, but just the community aspect of it. It's a true community wellness hub
absolutely. And it's historic.
and historic.
Historic space, 50
50
years.
plus years,
50
yeah.
plus. So y'all, for your own sanity, y'all need to pop up and check out Nicholas BK in Brooklyn. Go holla at Monique. Tell her you heard from the people's herbalist that that's the place to go. Special, man. And also on that same note, building community, there's and more specifically for the gentlemen, for our warriors, for our brothers out here, having space that is safe for men to be vulnerable, I think is something that is not talked about or given enough light. And I got to give you a big shout out for OMZL Healing Sanctuary for hosting and holding space for the brothers to get their mind right. We out here dealing with a lot of things, and we have to be strong for our families, for our children, for our wives. We have to keep that persona of strength, and we might be struggling internally, and you don't want to show your weakness, right? That in our society now, men showing weakness to their family is a weakness in itself. So sometimes you have to be vulnerable. You need to. If you're not, you're gonna collapse. So you hold space for people. Let's talk about it.
Well, first of all, I like to say that we are pack animals. We thrive in groups. That other animals, they sometimes go solo for a while and things like that. But we're just animals. And people don't think we are, but we are. We're animals just with nice jewelry on. But we have to come together. So most likely, people think of community. They think of like a community center, a senior citizen center, where people, sit around and eat donuts. But community is really when we come together as a village. So what they've done is they pushed us into these major cities, these city hubs where we're all squeezed into each other. So remove that village vibe that we should still be having. So this is where coming together and retreating, right? You know, the Proverbs yell that we get together with men is called the Wind Horse Rising Men's Retreat. But really, it's a men's training ground and an experience. That's really what it is. Because when you think of retreat, most people think of I'm on the beach, eating grapes, and they're fanning me with an ostrich feather. But it's not like that. But we're not wrestling each other to the ground either. Like we go hiking and we have food together. We sit around the fire. We do mountain water, cold plunging. And there's all sorts of different things, fire ceremonies. And having that rite of passage that is necessary for men. So that's a great point that you brought up, right? About men, because men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women are. We are at an epidemic. There is a suicide happening like every 11 seconds, bro, on an average. It's crazy. Why is that? It's possibly because of the societies that we live in. They try to tell us, "Oh yeah, we're closer together because we have the phones and we're texting and online and everything." But it's all fake. It's all a lie. It's all straight illusion. And if anything, it just separates us from being with one another.
Social media
Look at
is not social.
It's not social. I
Not,
mean,
not in the energetic sense.
look at all of the videos and pictures that people with nice car behind them, nice house, on vacation. The shot with the G string. Come on, like you are just who you are. That's it. You if anything, you should be expressing yourself like, hey, I'm struggling. Right? A couple of years back, there was this one woman, man, that it was the first time I had saw her. She came on social media and she cried. She just like, I can't take it, and life is there. And I was like, you see, that's the way it should be. Sharing with community and let them know, hey, I'm hurting, man, and I need some help with this. That's what we do.
I love it. I love it. When's the next retreat? Let's talk
So,
about that real quick.
well, we're coming up in about 2 months or so from now. So I have a tentative date in July, like right in the second week of July. We're going to do camping there. It's in New Paltz, New York. It's on the Stone Mountain Farm, which is over 250 acres of land. The land is sacred. It does belong to the Ledi Lenape people, and we do honor them in our ceremonies and the stewards of the land as well. So somewhere in July, we're gonna go camping. The last what we had last year during the summer, man, we must have had like 12 or 15 guys, and we had campfires going and we talked, and man, guys released all kinds of things, and some guys just come be quiet too. It's not mandatory. Like, hey, it's your turn to talk. You gotta talk. And you don't have to. Just take it in. Danny, it's the council of men. That's what we're missing here. Because as hunter gatherers, women, gathered all of the seeds and the beads and those type of things for knitting. But men, we were the hunters. And we really couldn't talk, right? Because whatever we were hunting was hunting us too. But then we came back to the fire. And that's where the elder men counseled us and gave us the wisdom, you see, and they've removed that from our society. So we have to get back to that.
Absolutely necessary. Man, we are here on WHCR 90.3 FM radio, the voice of Harlem.
Harlem has its own radio station, WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
Yes, yes, yes. And I am joined by OMZL Healing and Cura Alkaline on the People's Healing Hour this morning. It's Wellness Wednesday. The phone lines are open if anybody has questions or if you have prayer requests or birthday shout outs. Phone number is 212-650-6903. Again, 212-650-6903. Man, we're talking about mental health right now. And we just talked about some really important aspects of mental health for the gentlemen, for the strong men, the brothers, the males out here, and how we're holding community for them. It's an important thing for us to recognize that we keep a lot of things internal and we don't share. Being able to share is an important thing, even though you might have a stigma around it. Get over yourself. Do it for your family. It's all right to be weak and vulnerable. I can tell you in our culture right now, especially in my family, like yo, men don't cry. You know what I'm saying? Suck it up. You'll be alright. Alright, but there comes a time when you suck it up too much and you will explode.
That build up,
You know what I'm saying? That buildup can definitely have some serious psychological impacts, but also cause you to do some things that you might ruin some relationships that bridges might be broken that can't be rebuilt. So
Projections, yep.
you know what I'm saying? Before it gets to that, do some work for yourself. And honestly, I'm saying it's work, but really, going out in nature is a privilege that you should treat yourself with. It's a blessing. Being able to do that with other people, other men that want to build and become better. I can't think of anything greater for our society, for all parts of our society. Because when the men are healed, they are taking care of everybody else as best as they can in a way that brings more masculinity. Right? We got men that are not masculine, right? And thinking that they're tough just by acting a certain way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That ain't the way. You know, you have to be in touch with both sides. You know, there's feminine, there's masculine, but having an integration of both and understanding that it's how you grow as a man. I'll tell you that for sure. You have to be able to nurture sometimes. You know, that's something that you gotta cultivate if you want to be a fully well-rounded individual. And then there's things that we can do. We went through a breathwork exercise, which was awesome. That box breathing is definitely something that we want to do and incorporate. And the people's herbs. I gotta talk about some herbs for the people that help you feel a little bit better in life. So adaptogenic herbs is my specialty, as most people already know. And just to give a quick synopsis, an adaptogen is an herb category that describes botanicals, natural substances that have a balancing effect on our physiology, that helps with our immune function and also helps with hormone production. And lastly, it's safe for long-term use because we have some medical grade herbs that you use for specific issues for a short amount of time because it can, have some antibiotic properties. That, some diarrhea type things might happen if you consistently take some herbs. But the adaptogens have that safe profile for long-term use. And one of my favorites, and one of the most researched, I would say right now, is ashwagandha. All the data, the research points, it reduces cortisol. Reducing cortisol, you're helping your stress hormones, you're helping your body grow and your brain is functioning better. Lion's mane is another one that I really love to use.
Touch on the mushrooms,
Yeah.
mushrooms for sure, the fungi family.
You already know the fungi family. And I put the fungi in its own category.
Right? His own character, his own kingdom.
He got his own kingdom. You talk about herbs, and fungi technically are used as herbs, but they deserve their own section within this conversation. And those medicinal fungi are the future for food, for medicine, for development socially and
removing
spiritually.
plastic. There's certain fungi that they're doing studies on how it can be used to remove plastic, clean our soils.
Environmental remediation.
Oceans also absorb all these oil spills.
Yep. I thought that was so interesting to see that. The oyster mushrooms, incredible at just breaking down the carbon bonds in oil. Right, so environmental remediation with oyster mushroom. But there's also another mushroom, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it breaks down plastic itself, which is incredibly important now because microplastics are all up in our bodies. You know that they said 99% of men have microplastics in their testes, in their semen?
And then how is that influencing the mental health?
Think about that. You know what I mean? Your balls are full of plastic.
Right.
But then also at the same time, when we're procreating now, the children that are coming from the semen that has microplastics in it, it's like all these things
That
coming
just
down.
brings the importance of the highlight of detoxing, right? Cleansing. I think getting into my 30s was something that I stepped into more, into having a time where you fast, time where you take some herbs to help cleanse because of all these environmental toxins and just the everyday things that we're dealing with, especially when you're living in these complex cities here like New York City. You have to be mindful of that. Some people feel like it's not as needed, but as you see, hey, you can still be plant based, and when you do a cleanse, you will be surprised how much you release. You know, so it's pretty shocking. But back on the botanicals that you were saying on herbs, these herbs like blue vervain, valeriana, these are herbs that are aiding the nervous system and helping reduce that cortisol, easing the stress.
100%. Is when you are finding tools to regulate your nervous system, you are impacting your digestion, your thought process, your sleeping abilities, your recovery abilities, your immune function. Everything is it's the rising tide. Your nervous system is everything. So you got herbs that support your nervous system. The nervine herbs, is what we like to say.
Correct.
Those things are wonderful in so many different aspects of life. Because people always ask me, what can I use for this? Like, what herb is for this? Like, that is a mistake in the thought process because of the allopathic way of thinking.
Exactly.
You
We
know,
just used to
yeah,
the pill taking, so we just used to like this helps with that. We isolate a lot of
right.
that.
The
But
isolation.
but really, a lot of these herbs are complementary to so many other parts that you just mentioned with digestion. And we can see furthermore now with studies how gut health affects so many parts of our body, even lung health. I have someone close to me that just really found out that their asthma is contributing to their gut health. So people don't rarely make that connection.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up too, because I was thinking about some of the products that I have picked up from Buddha, especially the sea moss. Crispus?
Yeah, purple
Oh,
conscious Christmas.
oh
Yes.
my
Oh, that's right.
goodness,
You
man.
haven't tried that. Now you're
Man.
in that world
I
now.
stay regular on it for real, and it's the gut that's where everything is happening in your body and your nervous system, right? They have found brain-like cells in our intestines, right? So we are living like with a symbiotic relationship with another intelligence that we have in our gut. So we have to use the sea moss, right? So Dr. Sebi was the one who helped to make that popular. He didn't invent that. He didn't invent none of those things, by the way, right? Anything that we're talking about, let's keep it real. These things are old things. They're very ancient.
Centuries. Yeah.
We're just rediscovering these things. That's why when you hear something from somebody else, oh man, he just got that from somebody else. Yeah, well, that guy got it from somebody else too.
There's always somebody else.
Exactly. There's nothing new under the sun. But when it comes to your gut, right? When people say, "Oh man, I hate his guts," right? They never say, "Oh, I hate his feet" or his arm. Right?
Or I had a good
A
feeling.
good feeling, or they go, "Oh, brother, go with your gut," right? You see, so we have to know that we have to work within those confines of some of the herbs and the sea moss, which is seaweed, correct?
Algae. Yes,
Algae.
correct. Yeah.
Algae.
Super
Chandris
powerful.
crispus, Irish
Yes.
sea moss, made popular by the legendary Dr. Sebi. Yeah, one of those things I think is a really interesting substance for people to ingest. It has so many aspects. People talk about the mineral content, but I think one of the bigger things is the collagen
Yeah.
that's in there. Really important for joint health, for skin health, for gut health, for all kinds of
Thyroid health.
thyroid health, the iodine that's in there too.
Inflammation,
Incredible,
mucus.
incredible item. But
Yeah.
hold on. We on 90.3 FM radio, the voice of Harlem, talking about Chandra's Crispus. We talking about gut health here, but it's important for everybody recognize like here we're talking about these wellness topics. Do not misconstrue this with medical advice. This is not to diagnose, to treat, or to cure any disease items at all. This is for wellness of your entire body and your mind. And that's what we do here, talking about these different topics to grow. The view of the radio station and any information that is shared is for the development of the people, making you feel better, helping you have some insight to look into different ways for you can build upon your wellness. This is your wellness journey, and we're here to guide you on that thing as best as we can with the information that we have, building that bridge, man. And here with my brothers, Omar and Kura from Kura Alkaline, man, we're here talking about the wellness of our society, of our mental health, of our environments, and how we need to do better, how we can do better by breathing, by being in nature, by building in community. And one of the things about community, right? We like to mimic nature. I think that is one of the best ways. It happens in technology. It happens with
Aviation.
aviation. You know what I'm saying? We always look at nature because God doesn't really make no mistakes. He's a perfectionist. And when we are looking into nature and God's creations and trying our best to do renditions of that, we sometimes become pretty darn close. We do some interesting things as human beings, and I gotta shout out to the intellect because I feel like as a wellness and nature proponent, we always talk bad about human interventions. Because humans be jacking some stuff up. Let's not get it twisted. But there is some incredible innovation that we are capable of, and following the instructions and mimicking things and parts of nature like our greatest and most valuable commodity in nature, which are these bees. Right?
Yes.
The bees, man, they don't make mistakes. These bees have sacred geometry on their side. They got frequency and vibration on their side. I don't know how the heck they're able to just regurgitate some of the most powerful medicine ever. Like these things are these beings, excuse me, we call them things. These beings are so impactful for human dietary things. They are responsible for, I think one of the quotes was 60 to 70% of food on uh, shelves in the supermarket have bee related interactions. There was some type of bee pollination or something that was able to make those products possible. And I think, like, well, that was mind blowing to me. And I think there's also an assumption that if bees go extinct, humans are done in like a year.
Albert Einstein actually quoted 4 years.
4 years?
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, quite less than that.
Yeah.
I think a few years back I had learned that somewhere in China, where there was so little bees that they started pollinating the plants and flowers by hand. They were on a ladder because no bees were coming around.
That's great.
Well, that's another issue too. The BCCB colony collapse is a big issue that we contributed to the constant herbicides and pesticides that are used in our crops. Part of the culture having a monoculture type of agriculture system, and it plays a big role. I mean, I don't know if people know, but there's they commute bees from a certain state to another state so they can be able to pollinate that region. It's that important, and um, how much we are also lacking on these natural pollinators to do what they do because of the environment that is, and so much with the toxins and it's affecting their receptors of what they're doing. It confuses them, and then a bee has to make it back to its hive within 24 hours. When that doesn't happen, the bee unfortunately
Doesn't
dies.
make
Yeah,
it.
it
You
doesn't
know,
make
Danny,
it. Yeah,
that makes me think of the Wi-Fi's that we have
and the
too.
Wi-Fi
It's
too.
so
Yeah,
high. That's where they saw some excuse me, but I'm sorry, where they had found certain animals like washing up on the shore.
mm.
You know, because they would normally go one way, but the Wi-Fi was throwing them off.
Mm.
At the end, it was like, oh, it's this way, and they were just beaching.
Crazy. Electromagnetic frequencies, artificial, human man made frequencies, altering the frequencies that we can't see around this world, and everything else operates on these frequencies. All wildlife, animals, bees, insects, migratory birds, like, and we think that this is, oh, it's not really harmful to humans, and assuming that it's not harmful to humans. We got an epidemic of cancers and all kinds of psychological breakdowns and all kinds of,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
on that
saying?
too.
To think that this has zero impact is quite honestly pretty humorous, to be gentle with it. But yeah, man, it's really, that's a really big topic, which I think we can go on for hours. So that
Yeah.
topic alone.
But before we do move, I was wondering, Buddha, if you could talk a little bit about the bee, the stainless bee honey that you're placing in people's eyes
For sure.
and the benefits.
Thank you, Dave. And Omar. Yeah, so about 2, 3 years ago, I learned more from the Caribbean, and the culture there, they use this, they call this bee angelita, right? These are stingless bees. These are stingless bees. They call them angelitas, and they produce a honey that is safe to use for the eyes.
Mm.
Right? This honey does not crystallize, so it's what also makes it easier for you to use in the eyes because you can't use any honey really for eye drops. And it has other benefits as well, using it as eardrops or for the skin for wounds. But what they've discovered that it can do for the eyes is help the progression of cataracts, like delay that progression or even potentially heal those conditions, glaucoma, um, infections in the eye, blurry vision. I personally use these drops. I source this honey from Colombia. These bees come from a tribe called the Meliponini tribe. Okay, and there's a plethora of different type of stingless bees. There's over 100 different type of species of stingless bees. Yeah, so it's a big community. It's a big community of stingless bees, and not all of them produce honey that is safe to use for the eyes because some certain bees have different habits when they interact with the carcasses, that bacteria back to the hive. So that type of honey wouldn't be ideal, not even for oil consumption. But yeah, this honey has shown great results. Working with the people at Nicholas Brooklyn, people are able to come to the store and try a free application, see and experience it for themselves. For me, it's done great in terms of focus, mental clarity, because your eyes are an extension of the brain. So as you are using these drops, you're also nourishing your brain with these compounds, helping with things like stress, and focus and memory and learning. A lot of the things that are so common now as we age that they normalize that we are meant to now forget or not have great memory or hearing loss. Like these are things that are expected, right? But as we align ourselves with nature, I'm not going to say this is the one cure for all. It's just also aligning yourself with nature and having the right habits of what you're consuming every day and using these tools that are there. Not everyone was. I wasn't aware until 2, 3 years ago that there existed a certain natural eye wash. Honey that you can use that can have these type of benefits.
That's important. And you said that the eyes are an extension of the brain. I just thought that was just an important fact to say one more time.
Yes, the eyes is your brain. So it's an extension of your brain. So through your optic nerve, you're nourishing your brain with all these compounds. So that also made me think as well as when people just use regular drops. You know, are those ingredients that are there? How does that interact with the brain? We don't really look at that too much. We just think about, oh, I'm just using this for redness of the eyes or just itchiness, or, and we don't really think about how also that is also interacting with our cerebral spinal fluid, receptors of our brain, the downline effect of that. Using that every day.
Right. That's a great point. Eye drops, y'all out here chiefing on the ganja. Y'all got red eyes, putting their Visine in there. Be careful with it. There's those dilators or constrictors, excuse me. How's that impacting your brain? How's that impacting your cerebral spinal fluid? That's a great point to talk about. Insights that you guys might want to think about. You know what I'm saying? This is, incredible topics, man, here on the People's Healing Hour on WHCR 90.3 FM radio. Man, the bees, the bees, the bees, the birds and the bees. And I'm talking about nature, not the Wuhan. All right, we actually talking about the importance of being outside in nature and having an understanding of what nature can provide for us. And these stingless black bees, I didn't realize there was so many different variations of
Yeah, there's some that are all black. There are some that are yellow, gold color.
them. Okay.
Yeah, there's a variation of different type of stainless
Okay, so the stingless bee honey that sourced from Colombia, the one that you get, this is one that is safe for adults. And not all honey is created equal. So you're not just gonna go
Yeah,
around.
I also want to say this is also essentially fermented honey. This is a honey that's sourced, harvested 2 to 3 times a year. So the design inside of the hives of these bees is completely different from what you most people are accustomed to. They do not make their hexagonal honeycombs. They make these resin pots. And in these pots, they'll deposit either nectar or pollen. And the maturing process begins. And that's when the honey begins to ferment. And that through that fermentation process is what also allows the compounds that are in the honey, certain minerals, to be more bioavailable. And the pot that it's sitting in, it's a wax that's produced by the bees, but it's also infused with resin and propolis, things that the bees forage from tree sap, plants, and this resin and propolis contains areas of antimicrobial compounds. So they collect this also to sanitize, keep their sanitized their hive sanitized, and so the way the honey is spoiled. This honey could naturally just contains more moisture. So that environment of containing more moisture and being in these pots is the perfect setting for it to begin to ferment. So now the harvesting process is also key factor in how you can also make this safe for the eyes. At Good Alkaline, our process of harvesting is using a syringe. So then that way the quality control is intact as well. So that way it's safe to use for the eyes.
Nice, nice. Important aspect of safety here. You know, people might hear this real quick and say, "Hey, I got some honey. Maybe I can throw that honey in my eyes." Not how it works.
Put in the tea.
I'm glad you said that. David.
It's an important, man. Safety when it comes to utilizing our natural substances is really important. And not every herb is good for every person. Not every protocol is set for every individual. So having somebody that can guide you through this process and give you some insights and help you, through the trials and errors, because there will always be trials and errors with people. That goes for allopathic medicine, that goes for exercise routines, that goes for dietary protocols, that goes for herbal supplementation, that goes for everything in life. You're finding what is going to work best for you. So doing that and having someone to guide you like Kura Alkaline um, is something important for everyone to recognize. Having some guidance is very, very critical. All right, so that's my 2 cents on getting yourself together and having somebody assist you in that manner. But self care is what we're about. People's Healing Hour. This is for the people and it's for healing. And you want to be your own advocate for your well being and for your health. That doesn't mean ignore everything your doctor says. Does not mean your doctors are evil. All right. I have gone through that stage of my life where
For sure.
you see so much damage. You hear things like iatrogenic injury and iatrogenic death, where that just simply means you got sick or you died because of a medical intervention. Not necessarily malpractice. That just means there's side effects for a lot of things that are prescribed. And
Risk and
sometimes
everything, even in
yeah,
some holistic stuff as well.
exactly.
There is some risk.
It's risk across the board. So recognize that, know that. Uh, we got to do better and do our best. And so that's it. Doing our best is our mission in life. If we want to get better, we got to do a little bit better. You know?
I think it also has to do with pattern recognition, right? Humans, we're really good at that, but only when we use it, right? Not when we hand over our power to some other outside forces in order to tell us things. Sometimes people tell me, "Oh, well, my doctor," and I tell them, you might want to look into that. You know, like study it or search it. Not just because they said or something like that. So with this pattern recognition, when we start exercising it, we get to see what does work for us and what doesn't. So if we're talking about mental health, right? We're talking about a pattern of behavior that humans are doing, but we don't recognize it. So sometimes we're talking about community. When we're alone in the house, nah, I just want to be alone in my house. I don't want nobody to bother me. You see, that's not the road you want to go down. Oh, I just want to be by myself. I just want to, go inward. And yeah, that's fine. But we need to be out as pack animals and to get different ideas and the counsel of other people and stuff like
And finding that place, and finding the people you're comfortable with. Sometimes it's a journey. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to put yourself out there. I know that that is a big thing for a lot of people. Putting yourself in a different environment makes you feel uneasy, and gives you some hesitation.
that's right. That's where sometimes the fear comes in. But sometimes we confuse excitement with fear, or a new thing with fear or danger. And they're not the same. They kind of feel the same, but they're not. It's just that you don't know. So you figure, hey, I'll go to this place. Yeah, but what if nobody likes me? Well, what if they'll say something wrong to me? Or what if I don't fit in? What if I'm not wearing the new shoes or something like that? See, this is sort of like the frontal cortex telling us, be careful. There may be some danger out there. I'm here to protect you. But we have to push past that internal security system that has been placed in us by whoever, whatever you
In our
believe.
subconscious, there, yeah, it's always wanting to protect us.
Exactly. But there is no fear. That's just excitement. It's something new. It's a new environment. We have to put ourselves out there. That way we not only learn how to do things, but we get out of that depression that we're speaking about. The serious psychological depression. Now, Danny, I have to tell you that when I saw your post, it was the first time that I had heard something like this before. I heard many different things, ADHD and these type of things, but this was something new that I had looked into.
It was something very necessary because we talk about mental health. It's a very big umbrella on how that is understood across the board, right? You say mental health, you're talking to a psychiatrist, they're going to give you a diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
bipolar, schizophrenia. You talk to a layperson, they're like, yo, I'm just stressed out. I'm having a psychotic break or something like that. And that's not really anything clear, but serious psychological distress. That's understood across the board. It's like you're going through something serious that is impacting your ability to do whatever it is you need to do. Your ability to make money, your ability to teach or raise your kids, your ability to
Relationships,
and,
everything.
and be present for your partner. There's a lot of things that
Children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's this book, U Squared. It talks a lot about quantum leaps, and in this book, it reinforces what we're all speaking about. Of, you don't have to do more work or more effort. Sometimes a lot of it is just really doing something that can make you feel uncomfortable at the moment, right? Whether it be public speaking or
Cold plunge.
cold plunge. Yeah,
I
those
had to throw that in.
yeah, those thank you for that. Those situations there can now bring forth a different perspective for you, and now you're making different decisions. Just basically doing those things that you felt some resistance at first, and then just pulling through, and you can achieve certain quantum leaps. Get much more ahead, and it wasn't much more effort or more work. It was just really getting out of that comfort zone.
right, right. You never know those invisible barriers you create for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you break it, and it seems like, oh man, now I'm exposed to all these new amazing things. What? Oh, this is better than I had thought. This is incredible. And you just get out of your shell, and you've now been you open the door to something beautiful and very fertile for growth for you, man. And man, I had to bring it back to these bees, man, because they survive, right? Bees survive through cooperation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Through rhythm, shared responsibility, and bees they all contribute to the strength of the hive. I think that's just such a good dynamic for human beings to base our overall activities behind because we're not much different. When people are disconnected, we become overwhelmed and isolated, and then our entire system starts to feel really bad effects. So bees can remind us that resilience is often built through collaboration, through balance, working together, having a shared purpose. And that is purpose,
One of
right?
the most selfless insects because everything they contribute is for the next generation. So it's almost like the same mindset we have with community, our family. Everything we do is for the next generation.
I love that. I love that. I was thinking about we would never find a bee, way in the corner binge watching Netflix or something like that, right? Right? We would never find a depressed bee or something like that, right? So that speaks to the community about the contribution that you're doing, for the collective of everyone. So sometimes you think, oh, I'm depressed, and you need to get out there and start doing something. What is it? I don't know. But there should be something that you're contributing to. That way, there's some purpose in your life. You see, because we need to find purpose. Humans need to have purpose. We're not here to just go to a job, make money, and then give that money to somebody else, and then die. And then on the tombstone, we go, Bill Smith or something like that. Sorry. If you remember in ancient times, on the tombstone, they would say, poet, architect, artist. Now it's just like, oh,
Use that now.
yeah. Yeah, humans are here to thrive, and we only do that as a collective.
Explore your art by being in nature and slowing down. Everyone is an artist in their own right. You may not be able to color, you may not be able to draw, you may not be able to make incredible music, but you have art to give to this world. Your contribution through your art. Maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's your laughter, maybe it's your sense of humor, but it is something that is painting a picture for a beautiful society for somebody. It's going to impact somebody, inspire somebody. You just got to be out there. People have so much negative self-talk that they will talk themselves out of being a valuable contribution to society, which is wild. And never doubt yourself. Never talk bad about yourself. There's a lot of people can do that for you. Don't do it to yourself.
When we got here, there was another program that was on, and the sister was saying some powerful, powerful things about how we need to celebrate ourselves. We need to clap for ourselves. The only person in the room who we clapping might just be you, but that is enough for us to rise. Compliment yourself. That's why tracking in OMZL, we're big on tracking. We need to have a list of undeniable, stackable wins. Hey, I went out and meditated. Oh, I did breath work. I walked in nature. I went to Nicholas Brooklyn and got my eye drop from Buddha. Write it down. That way you can look back and go, hey, I'm doing things here.
Right? You got to get it in. Plan for your success. Plan for being out in the community and building with yourself and with others. That's our message for today. You know what I mean? I can't. You're on 75, man. That hour almost is over so fast. It goes by quickly. But man, I want to talk about some things that's happening. What people can look forward to, how they can connect. Right? I could tell you from the People's Herbalist and Max Philanthropy, my nonprofit, we have a lot of really interesting activities going on for this month. A lot of things are happening in Jersey, in Tenafly on Saturday, Tenafly Night. If anybody's close to that area, is right across the bridge. It will be an incredible activation with some awesome vendors. I'll be there sharing some herbal things. Sunday, um, Earth Fest. We'll be in Overpeck Park, having some things out there. Man, we got some activities. You guys got anything set up for the week that we should
For
mention?
well, there's a retreat that I'm going to be sponsoring out in Costa Rica, where I'm going to be doing a health workshop and providing some stay. That's happening for me at the end of this month of May 27th into the first week of June.
Okay.
It's a 5-week retreat.
5 weeks?
Sorry, 5 day.
Oh,
5-day retreat.
I like 5 weeks.
Yeah, 5 weeks. And I I will have coming up next month an event in the Bronx where I'll do a workshop on the benefits of sinus PRP and how its medicinal properties and how it can possibly be suitable for you. That will be in the Bronx. So I'm gonna get an exact date soon, but yeah, that's what I got going on so far for me in this month.
Beautiful. And how can people get in contact with you, stay in touch, learn more?
So you can get in contact with me. Well, I have my number would be 929-266-4008. That's 929-266-4008. And also my social media, it's Kura Alkaline, KURA, ALKALINE.
Okay.
He's got his phone going off, man. Listen, you're on a major radio station right here, bro.
Yeah, we rocking out, man. Healing
Rocking
People's
out,
Healing
rocking
Hour, man. It's important for us to be able to connect and stay in contact with all the people. OMZL, tell them a little bit about where people can contact you and stay informed with the next retreat.
Thank you. We are the OZL Healing Sanctuary. We're located in North Bergen, New Jersey, which, like you alluded to earlier, it's right across the bridge. Like you just go over the George Washington Bridge. 20 minutes it took me to get here. That's some people go, oh, you in Jersey? That's so far. No, it's not. It's so close right there. It's just a stone throw away. It's on the other side of the river, actually. So we have many things happening at our establishment there. We do the breath work and the cold plunge. We have one coming up on the 23rd there in North Bergen, New Jersey. And we also have the Purple Sage Festival, which is a huge celebration. It's focused on unity in community. That is the major theme that we're having here, Danny. That we people know. Let's come together. Let's celebrate life. Life is beautiful. Stay away from the news. Stop looking at the news. You don't have to look at people go, oh, but what if there's a rapist up the block? Trust me, there is one up the block, you know. Right? And murderers and gangsters. And yeah, they are all over. You know, be weary, keep your eyes open, but don't go down that dark rabbit hole.
Right. Keep your energy and your vibration high. You'll be surprised on how you can impact somebody with your biofield. And I wish we had more time to go into this a little deeper, but your energy, your vibration impacts your environment and the people that are around you. So bad energy, when met with good energy, loses every single time. So don't forget that. Man, I'm so happy you guys joined me on this episode of the People's Healing Hour. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the people that are waking up this morning. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have an incredible rest of your day and rest of your week. And I will tap in with y'all next time. Y'all listen to some good vibes. Y'all go outside and get some sunshine because you need it. Yes. All right, I'll holler at y'all later.
Yes. Peace. Peace. Peace.
Yes, sir. Alright, so I'm just gonna let this music rock for like a half a second. But yeah, man, y'all did it. Congratulations, gentlemen. Yeah. This was nice, man. Nice building session.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Great experience, man. Great.
My life in the sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine.
I appreciate you guys for being live with us on YouTube. I feel rock it out. You know what I'm saying? One time for the one time. The people's herbalist. Herbs for the people. Y'all ready?
Sunshine.
I'll catch y'all next time.
Folks get down in the sunshine.